Hello lads, welcome back to the channel. Today is January 1st, premiere day of 2026. About 2 weeks ago, OreoDayz was asking me about monocolored decks. He noticed that I don't seem to present that many, and he asked him if I have any. So, in honor of that, let's talk about one of my two monocolored decks. So right now, I have two. I have Azami, Mono Blue Wizard Tribal. Not typal, that's bullshit. Tribal. It's a tribe of wizards. It's the Blue Klux Klan. I have Horobi, Mono Black. And he's gone through a lot of changes. I used to have Mono Green. Omnath, Locus of Mana. I used to have Omnath, Locus of Mana. But he just kind of plays the same and he got boring, so I took him apart. I had Jay Ballard, Task Mage. I tried to make a direct damage deck with her as the commander, and it was just too weak, too slow, didn't work. So I took her apart. And now she is working for Kenrith as a discard outlet as a way of doing direct damage. I don't think I've ever had a mono white deck. I probably did, because years ago I was trying to build one deck for every possible color combination. So I must have had a mono white deck. I can't remember who that is. Can't remember what it was. So I didn't play that much if I did, and it didn't make much of an impression on me. I could build another one. I'm just not really inspired to do so. Same with green and red right now. But black works pretty good. So let's talk about Horobi, Death's Whale. Horobi, 2 colorless, double black, for 4/4 flying legendary spirit. Whenever a creature becomes target of anything, it dies, including Horobi himself. So the neat thing about him is if you play him, your opponents can't use any equipment, they can't enchant the creatures, they can't do something that gives target creature +1/+1, they can't do something that gives target creatures, none of that. Even if they use Semester's End, which targets creatures for phasing, target creatures phase out, it'll kill the creatures rather than saving them. So if you have anybody using anything that targets their creatures in order to save them from a board wipe that they're casting, run Horobi, and it'll kill their creatures instead. That said, the weakness of Horobi is that whenever a creature becomes target of any spell or ability, it dies. Meaning, if Horobi's on the field, any number of random targeting effects kill him, kill my creatures, kill shit. When I'm not intending them to, when I don't want them to die. And that's where we get into... So Horobi was offline for a while. I built him years ago, and I built him to run him out as quickly as possible. Have a bunch of targeting effects. I thought that would help the glare. That's not really helping. Maybe I'll take him out of the sleeve completely. So I started... Yeah, that's better. So the idea was I would run out Horobi as quickly as possible. I would have things like Touch of Darkness. What's the other one? Cauldron of Souls. And I would target people's creatures to do one-sided board wipes. And that worked out pretty good until it stopped working because people started having decks with just random targeting effects. So they would randomly target Horobi and kill him when I wasn't expecting, when I wasn't ready for it. And it became so ubiquitous that the way I planned the deck, the way I engineered the deck, he was no longer viable. The plan no longer worked. So I took him apart. And then, 2 years ago? 2 years ago I rebuilt him, but instead of the original Kamigawa Horobi, I used this version from Multiverse Legends to show a visual break with what I had before, to kind of immediately be aware that it's a different deck, it's a new deck. Is that going to show us? Yeah, I guess that's good enough. Let me put it over here. There we go. So let's talk about what he has, what he does, how I changed the deck between the original build and the new build. So he's got 39 lands, 27 swamps. So he's one of my decks that has the most lands. And as I go through the lands, you'll see why. So I just toss the swamps to the side. Crucible of Worlds. Because I'm going to be eating my swamps. Some of you know exactly what I'm talking about. Some of you are like, why are you going to eat your swamps? That doesn't sound very healthy. It's not. Not in the long term. But it can be effective to give you a boost. So Crucible Worlds. I've got Crucible World in here. 3 colorless. I can play lands from my graveyard. Fantastic. Soul Ring. What the hell was that called? Something black. Collector's Edition black. EDH black collectors. Collect the black stuff. Vora's Stronghold. I love this card. I keep telling my mates, keep telling the lads I play with, they should buy one because it's on sale. As of today, it looks like they're running for about 60 euros. So I figure 5 euros for shipping. That's probably cheaper than a precon these days, I think. I haven't bought precons for a long time, so I don't know. But anyway, Vora's Stronghold. It's a fantastic addition to any deck running black. It's it only gives you colorless, so you can tap it for colorless, or you can spend 1 to black, tap it, put a creature card from your graveyard on top of your library, and bring your threats back. So it's low risk. Sometimes, having that colorless instead of black is injurious. Sometimes it doesn't matter at all. Vito, Thorn of the Dusk Rose. So the new idea of the deck, the new way I play the deck, is it's big black bastards. It's just cool black monsters that I want to play. The deck is designed to run without Horobi. So the deck is supposed to play black threats, control the board, and then if I have things in place to do the one-sided board wipes, or I need Horobi, then I can bring him down. Get a sip of tea just a minute. That's good stuff. Having some Damascus chai. So, Vito here, 2 and a black, for a 1/3 Legendary Vampire Cleric. Whenever I gain life, target opponent loses that much life. So I've got other ways of gaining life in here, not a lot, but a few, enough to where he can become a problem. He can cause people to sweat. 3 double black. Creatures you control gain lifelink until end of turn. Well, that can get kind of spicy kind of fast. Which I really wish this is a foil. I really would like to see a foil version of this card. But it doesn't exist, as far as I know. Maybe one has been reprinted since I bought this one. I need to check that out. Anyway, Witch of the Moors. 3 double black. Human Warlock. 4/4 with the Death Touch. Beginning of your end step, if you gain life this turn, each opponent sacks a creature and you return up to 1 creature card from graveyard to your hand. 4/4, that's decent. Death Touch, that's pretty cool. But the possibility, now, of course, if your opponents are playing tokens, they're just going to sack a stupid token. But if you've wiped out the token somehow, and all they have to choose from are their big threats, then he becomes a lot more interesting. All you have to do is gain the life and get him going. Speaking of life gain, Son of Yawgmoth. 4 triple black, Phyrexian mana. Lifelink, 2/2. So he's 7 mana for a 2/2 with the lifelink. That's shitty. Until you realize that for each black in any of your other cards, you can pay 2 life. It turns all your black mana symbols into Phyrexian mana symbols. So Horobi could be 2 colorless and 4 life. Just drop him into play. Bang. Done. Smash people in the face. Whenever you cast a black spell, click, gets a +1/+1 counter. Of course, the good thing is it doesn't target him. He just buffs up. So he buffs up. He's got lifelink. He makes your spells not really cheaper. Let's get that clear. Sometimes spending 8 mana 8 life. Spending 8 life to cast your Phyrexian Obliterator, it can sting a little bit. It can get kind of painful. So you just have ways of getting that life back that isn't just relying on him punching people in the head. Nighthawk Scavenger. 1 double black for a 1/3 flying death touch lifelink. His power is equal to 1 plus number of card types among cards in your opponent's graveyard. He's like a Tarmogoyf. He's a black Tarmogoyf in a way. Except he's got lifelink and death touch and flying. So he's like super fuck you Goyf. Royal Assassin. Yeah, Royal Assassin targets, but if I target a tapped creature, the Royal Assassin is going to kill it anyway. So it's kind of redundant with Horobi, but I do like him. I do like the art. I remember fondly remember playing him in Revive. 1 double black for a 1/1. He's now a human assassin. Tap, destroy any tap creature. There are probably better options in the deck. There are probably more efficient things I could be doing. But I just like him. And he just works. And he works with another card. Let's set him off to the side and might get the card. I'll show you. Swamp. Cryptghast. 3 to black. Extort. And he doubles my swamps. There has been times with this deck that my swamps tap for 5. Yes. It's possible in this deck to put yourself in a position where every one of your swamps taps for 5 black mana. To do that, you have to get Liliana's ultimate, and you have to have Cryptghast in play. But tapping a swamp for 5, that feels good. Swamp. Tower of the Magistrate. Add 1 colorless mana to your mana pool, or 1 tap target creature gain protection from artifacts until end of turn. So if Horobi's in play, for 1 tap, I can kill something. I can give it protection from artifacts until end of turn, and it just dies. You know, getting protection from artifacts scares the hell out of it. Murderous Rider, Swift End, 1 double black, kill something, lose 2 life. 1 double black, cast something, get a 2/3 life linking.
Hello.
Hello. Do you like Solemn Simulacrum?
No.
Why not?
I actually don't know. He's just...
Does he look sad?
No, he just looks like he's been standing there for years.
Well, he's a Solemn Simulacrum. He hasn't been standing there for years. He's been simulating solemnity.
Well, if he's just a statue, how does he help you?
He's not a statue. He's a robot. He's a golem. He's Kai Buddha. That's a real person on a magic card. He won a championship, so he designed his own magic card. It was originally called Forest Folk. It was 2, 1 blue, 1 green, and with the same ability. And then in development, they made him into an artifact. 4 colorless mana, 2/2, same thing. He comes into play. Go find a basic land, put it in play tapped. When he dies, draw a card. And the card became a lot better when it became colorless. What about this guy, Chainer, Dementia Master? He's a minion.
If he's a minion, he should be yellow.
Yeah, he should be yellow, but he's not. He's a black minion.
Yeah,
he's 3 double black for a 3/3 minion.
He should be smaller, fatter, yellow, with giant eyes ending banana. I love banana. Banana.
Should he be swinging a banana?
Yeah, he should.
He should be swinging a banana.
Banana.
So he's a minion that gives all nightmares +1/+1. I don't think I have any nightmares in the deck at all. None.
He's not like minions from in this book.
He's a different kind of minion.
Ah, that makes sense.
And for triple black, I can pay 3 life and put a creature card from any graveyard into play under my control. And it becomes a black nightmare. And he gives it +1/+1. So then I would have nightmares. Chainer gives me nightmares. Anyway, when he croaks, you exile all nightmares. Maze of If.
This is what that minion should be eating. He should be eating that.
Yes, Chainer should have a banana. The banana is too big for him, though.
He can just shove it up himself.
He can shove it up his nose?
Yeah.
Okay. You hear that? Chandler can shove bananas up his nose, according to my daughter. Anyway, let's get back to it. So, Maze of Ith. Target attacking creature becomes untapped. Neither deals nor receives damage as a result of combat. Of course, if Horobi's in play, it just dies because it gets targeted. There it is. That's how I'm going to eat my swamps. Nom 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 swamps. With this card and 2 swamps in your opening hand, you've got potential for 6 mana on turn 3 if you need it. Turn 1 swamp, turn 2 swamp, turn 3 tap a swamp for 1 black, play Lake of the Dead, sacrifice it, tap the second swamp for black, eat it with Lake of the Dead for 4, and you've got 6 mana on turn 3. Of course, then you don't draw any more fucking swamps for 6 turns. That seems to be the way that has worked out for me. So, it's viable, it's possible, but do it at your own risk. Of course, if you get click out on turn 3, you're probably doing pretty good. Swamp, swamp, swamp. Nightshade Seer. This is something I'm pretty sure most of you have never seen, and some of you, after I describe what it does, are going to think, yeah, there's something I didn't need to see, don't want to see, I don't give a shit. So anyway, 3 and a black, 4 mana for a 1/1 wizard. So far so good, right? 2 and a black tap. Reveal any number of black cards in your hand. Target creature gets neg X until end turn, where that's number of cards revealed this way. So he's a bit of creature control. It's Donato Giancola art, so it's a beautiful old foil, so that's why I like it. If you're not into those, and you're not into 4 mana 1/1s with an expensive ability, I guess he's not rustling your jimmies. But anyway, again, with Horobi in play, so cast him, bring him down. Next turn, assuming I have 7 mana, I can bring Horobi down, and then I can 2 and a black, reveal any number of target black cards. Reveal any number of black cards in my hand. And it can be 0. All that's important is that I target something and Horobi will kill it. So I don't have to reveal any cards with the ability of Horobi's in play. That said, if I do have 4 black cards in my hand and I need to kill something like, oh, I don't know, Sonic before he starts attacking me, then I can do that. And it gives neg X, so indestructibility is made irrelevant. 1,000-year elixir. Do you know how much this card is these days? I was shocked. I was surprised. In foil, this is a 50 € card now. Can you believe that shit? 50 fucking euros in foil. Holy crap, I think I paid 5 for this. So what does it do? Comes down for 3 mana. You can play the activated abilities of creature control as though they had haste. And you can spend 1 tap and tap target creature. So, with this, I can use my Royal Assassin immediately. I can use Nightshade Seer immediately, provided I have the mana to cast him and to activate at the same time. Which, unless my swamps are producing 5 each, because the stars have aligned, it's a bit tricky. Yeah, we'd need 7 mana. The other thing is, if Horobi is in play, you're going to be hearing that a lot. I can spend 1 tap and untap a creature, and Horobi will kill it. Horobi doesn't care why the creature is being targeted. All he cares about is that he gets to kill things. Nykthos, Shrine to Nyx. This is the Pro Tour edition. I spent too much money on this. Let's be clear. They're going for 80 euros. I think I spent 70 on this one. So, yeah, it's gone up a bit, but if I sell it, I won't have another one. And they're probably never going to reprint it with this art. I just wanted different art because I've got about 6 Nykthos Shrine to Nyx in the original Theros. I just wanted something different, so I coughed up the extra coin and bought it. Anyway, tap, you get colorless. 2 colorless tap, choose a color. I bet it's going to be black. And you add an amount of mana to your mana pool equal to your devotion to that color, which is, of course, black, as we agreed. Icy Manipulator. I'd really like to get an original unlimited version, but it was a kind of expensive. I already had this one. Because I like the old foil. 4 colorless. Spend 1, tap target artifact, creature, land. So, 1000-Year Elixir can untap a creature. This can tap a creature. And both of them, as we've established perfectly well, will kill the creature if Horobi's around. Swamp. Doomed Necromancer. So this guy, 2 and a black for a 2/2. I think he's a clerical mercenary. Anyway, this mercenous cleric. Black, tap, sack him, bring a creature card from graveyard back into play. Toxic Deluge. Sometimes you just need to kill everything. Sometimes you can't get Horobi down because there's too many things that can randomly target him. Like Cube has a Tyrannid deck in the commander. At the beginning of combat, she puts a +1/+1 encounter on target creature. And we realized she could put it on any creature. Unfortunately for Cube, we realized that when I was playing Kenrith, and Horobi was out, and he went to target Horobi, and in response, Kenrith resurrected Avacyn, Angel of Hope, making Horobi indestructible. So, he was destroyed, but Avacyn said, "I do not grant you leave to rest. You must stay and fight, Horobi." And he said, "Okay, baby, I'll stay and fight." Ah. So he stayed and fought. But then that's the day we realized that Cube's commander can target more than just his cards. He can target any. So sometimes you need to wipe everything out. 2 to black, pay X life, all creatures get neg X until end of turn. It's getting kind of dark in here. I'm probably going to turn on more light. Vedmir, New Blood. Because I have so many targeting things in here, even if I don't have Horobi in play, I thought it'd be cool to get something that works with that, something to take advantage of that. So I put Vedmir, New Blood in the deck. 1 in a black. He's a legendary vampire rogue. He starts as a 2/2. Whenever you commit a crime, which is targeting anything that your opponent control or your opponents themselves, he gets a +1/+1 encounter. If he has 4 or more +1/+1 encounters, he has a menace and lifelink. And in this deck, he can hit 4 +1/+1 encounters pretty damn quickly. It doesn't take that long at all. Look, another swamp. Imagine that. Nyx Lotus, 4 colorless, comes play tapped. Tap it, and it's just like Nykthos, Shrine to Nyx. You choose a color, and you get mana equal to your devotion to that color. Urborg, Tomb of Yawgmoth. I've got some non-swamp lands in here, and I would like them to be kind of swampy. I would like them to give me black, so I have this in here to give me black. Trinket Mage, I believe it was. He did a video where he's talking about Cabal Coffers. And he's saying, why do you run Cabal Coffers? Unless your deck has a lot of big things, a lot of X spells, what do you really need that extra mana for? And the thing he did not cover is the other reason to play Cabal Coffers, which is, of course, because you're playing Urborg, Tomb of Yawgmoth. So if you're running Urborg, Tomb of Yawgmoth, you might as well run Coffers. And here it's double duty. I've got a lot of swamps, natively, a lot of basic swamps, and then I've got Urborg. So it turns all my other lands into swamps too. So I've got extra reasons to run Cabal Coffers in this deck. I just think, if you're going to run Urborg as kind of a mana fixer to give you more black, you might as well shove a Cabal Coffers in there if you have one. High Market. Gives you 1 colorless, or you can sack a creature and prevent it from being exiled with a fucking Swords to Plowshares. Karn, Silver Golem. Okay. So you're wondering, why do you have this in here? What is Big Robot supposed to do for you? He kills artifacts. And you're looking at him. And you're saying, no he doesn't, you're out of your fucking mind. Let me explain. So for 5 mana, I get a 4/4 legendary art. He's probably a golem. I need to look up the gatherer. So whenever he attacks or blocks, he becomes a 0/8. Okay, so far so good. 1 colorless, target non-creature artifact becomes an artifact creature power doubtless equal to its casting cost until end of turn. So, I've got Horobi in play. Karn turns one of my opponent's artifacts into a creature. I target it with something. I'm not sure, to be honest, if I can target it with this ability again, because it says target non-creature artifact, so I don't think it would matter. I don't think I could target it. But you've seen I've got other ways to target things. So Karn turns an artifact into a creature, something else targets it, and Horobi says, oh, hey, blow it up. And it gets blown up. Plus, I mean, he's a fucking house of a blocker. Swamp. Let me get some more light. Okay, there we go. I think that's much better. Yeah, he lights up a lot better. So you can see him clearly now. I can see clearly now. Horobi's come. I can see all the creatures dying in my way. Okay, no Priest of Oblivion. She's got this weird number up here. 1 and a black for a 2/1 medicine lifelink. But she really costs 6. So you got 6 mana. 4 colorless and 2 black, because when she comes into play, I'm going to want to kick her and have her bring somebody back out of the graveyard. Because I'm pretty well, early in the game, maybe I do want a 2/1 menacing lifelinker, which is pretty weak, not very impressive. But later in the game, it's almost guaranteed I'm going to have some dead creatures. Probably I killed them myself with Toxic Deluge or something else. So she'll bring somebody back. Bring them back. Put them to work. Swamp. Massacre Worm. 3 triple black. Comes to play, all your opponent's creatures get -2/-2 until end of turn. Whenever creature an opponent controls dies, the player loses 2 life. Now, keep in mind, the backup plan for Horobi is, of course, one-sided board wipe. So if I've got the Massacre Worm down, and I'm holding a Touch of Darkness, which you'll see in a few minutes, and Horobi's out, I can wipe all of my opponent's boards of anything that doesn't have indestructibility, shroud, or hexproof. And Massacre Worm is really going to hurt people. Could end the game. Swamp. Swamp. This is somebody new. I was looking at some video, and they talked about how the price of this guy had fallen. And you know what? I didn't even know this guy existed. I did not know he was a card and with a price to fall. But I saw him on the screen. I thought, hey, that's kind of cool. Looked it up on Chernobyl T's website and hey, that's kind of cheap. So I bought one. Gix Yawgmoth Praetor. 1 double black for legendary Phyrexian Praetor. Whenever a creature, I'm going to have to read this because I've never had him in play. And so I need to remember what he does. And the best way to do that is to RTFC. Whenever a creature deals combat damage to one of your opponents, its controller may pay 1 life. If they do, they draw a card. So he encourages my opponents to attack each other. He's kind of like Edric in that way. Because they attack me, and they deal damage to me, they don't get shit except damage to me. Which sometimes that's all that they want to do. Sometimes they just want to hurt me. But if they attack each other, they can pay life and get cards. And it's whenever a creature. So if they hit each other with multiple creatures, they can pay multiple life and draw multiple cards. Win-win for everybody. 4. Triple black. Throw away X cards. Exile the top X cards of target opponent's library. You may play lands and cast spells from among those cards without paying their mana costs. That's kind of cool. Of course, you have to throw away a bunch of cards. There's always a cost with black. Blood Gift Demon! 3 double black for a 5/4 flying demon! At the beginning of your upkeep, target player draws a card and loses 1 life. Yeah, it's going to be me. I'm going to Phyrexian Arena myself. Sudden spoiling. 1 double black, split second. You can't do shit when this is on the stack. Target creature... Player's target creature controls become 0/2 and lose all abilities until end of turn. So, this is pretty good when Massacre Worm is coming down. You know, if I've got 9 mana to do it, which I've seen it happen. It wasn't me that was doing it. It was pretty brutal, and I felt, you know, kind of brutalized after it happened. Got sudden spoiled, and then Massacre Worm came down. Killed all my creatures, hurt me real bad. What are you going to do? That's the game. So this is a way, you know, somebody's got some funky creatures that you just can't deal with. This will sort them out for a turn, and you get that turn to figure out what to do. Sometimes all you need is time. I don't know why this isn't here, really. I needed some more low casting cost creatures with some abilities, something interesting. So I stumbled across this Throll Parasite, 1 black for a 1/1. And sometimes I think I'd be better served by having a Will-O-the-Wisp in here. He's got Extort, which is good, which is helpful. Oh look, and it's got the reminder text. I used to think Extort, when I couldn't read the reminder text, you may pay, you know, black or white in addition to the normal casting cost of a spell. If you do, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain that much life. I kept thinking that it was each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. No, it's that much life. So that's a lot better. Somebody reminded me of that, one of you lads. And then tap, pay 2 life, remove a counter from target non-land permanent. It's only 1 counter at a time, and it taps him, and it costs me 2 life. So I'm not really sure how relevant that's going to be. I'm not really sure how often I'm going to want to do that. But I'm leaving him in here to see how he works. I don't play Horobi very often. I don't play any of my decks very often. I've got 20 prog decks. I've got 3 Ostruzan decks. I've got a 1 rare deck that I only play in prog against Cube. I've got 2 Lord of the Rings precons that I play in prog, but not that often because they're weaker decks. When I play, once a week I take 3 decks with me. So you can do the math, and you can, oh yeah, that's a lot of decks, and if you only take 3, and if you only play 2 of them because one of them you want to test out through multiple games, most of your decks are just going to sit on the shelf most of the year. So that's why I'm leaving this in here. So when I do take Horobi, I can see how this works. See if it's worth a slot. Swamp Swamp. Death denied. This is Bojuka Bog Insurance. Something I do with all my decks, something I think about, is recursion, especially if I'm playing a deck like this one, where creatures die, where I might be putting creatures in the graveyard myself, for whatever reason, discarding or dying, and I want them back. And I don't want somebody Bojuka Bogging me and exiling my creatures. So, whenever I build a deck, I always think of, well, what can I put in there to ensure that will not happen, or to ensure that I have at least an answer to it. Quite often that is Elixir of Immortality. In one of my decks it is Felden's Cane. In my green decks it's often Loaming Shaman, which of course is only sorcery speed. But if I think somebody's going to do it, I can cast Loaming Shaman preemptively. Anyway, so Death Denied. Double black X. Return X target creatures from your graveyard to your hand. So if somebody's going to exile your graveyard, and you've got dudes in there you want to bring back and put back to work, you can instantly deny them their death, and bring them back in your hand and let everything else get exiled. Swamp. Swamp. Eradicator Valkyrie. I needed more flyers, and I wanted more lifelink. And she was cheap. financially, she's not worth much at all. Let me just look it up because I've got Moxfield open behind the screen. Let's see. Eradicator Valkyrie is there. She's €2 in foil. She's €2 in flat. Her flat price is actually 6 euro cents more than her foil price. So anyway, 2 double black for 4/3, flying lifelink, hexproof from Planeswalker, Angel Berserker, which is the hexproof from Planeswalkers. That's so fucking random. I can't picture a time when that's really going to be relevant, unless somebody's playing Oko. If somebody's playing Oko, then she could work out pretty good. Boast, 1 to black, sacrifice creature. Each opponent sacrifice a creature or Planeswalker, but only if she is attacking and only once per turn. It'd be brutal if you could boast multiple times. You know, spend 3 colors, 3 black, sacrifice 3 creatures. Each opponent sacrifices 3 creatures or Planeswalkers, or Planeswalkers. To me, that would really feel mythic. As it is, her being a mythic, that's only for limited. She does not feel like a mythic card to me at all. Sure, she feels like a rare, but not a mythic. Not if you can only boast once. And not if she's only a 4/3 for 4 mana. But she is cool looking. Okay, Trading Post. This is another card that I have in here just because I want to see how well it works. I haven't spent enough time with it. I have had it in play, and I've run through a few cycles, but there was no conclusion. Look, a Trading Post. Do you like it? Do you like the Trading Post?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's pretty.
Yeah, that's still okay.
What?
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay. So look, 4 mana. 1 mana tap, throwaway card, I gain 4 life. 1 tap, pay 1 life, I get a goat.
A goat?
A goat. It makes goats.
For what?
For food, to eat. People eat goats. We eat goats sometimes.
Yeah, but...
Goat cheese and...
Well...
stuff.
You know that goat cheese is not literally eating a goat?
But you have to get it from the goat.
Yeah, well...
Or you can spend 1 sacrifice creature, which could be the goat. Return an artifact card from your graveyard to your hand. And then you can spend 1 sacrifice an artifact, draw a card. And then you can discard the card, gain 4 life, and you can run through it all over again. Urza's Cave. What are you doing?
Just looking at that.
Which one?
No.
This one?
Yeah.
It's Erebos, God of the Dead. I'm not onto him yet. Urza's Cave gives you colorless or 3 and black, 3 colorless, tap, sacrifice it. Go find Urborg, Tomb of Yawgmoth if you have Cabal Coffers in play, or find Cabal Coffers if you have Urborg, Tomb of Yawgmoth in play. Or, if you've got a bunch of black things, go find Nykthos. Shadun, the One-Eyed. This is another guy whose price really surprised me. So he's up to 60 euro. Which is just... I didn't know he's that popular. I don't think he's that popular. I think it's just time. Just, he hasn't been reprinted for a while. 2 double black for a 3/2 legendary human soldier with horsemanship, which is one of the most broken abilities on a creature imaginable. Because unless you have horsemanship, he's unblockable. So he's basically a 3/2 unblockable, which, you know, mighty 3 power is and no, when you hit an opponent, do something, none of that. So I mean, a 3/2 unblockable isn't that bad, isn't that game ending. He does look really cool though, and you can sacrifice him, but only during your turn before attacker. So during your first main phase, you can sacrifice him and return a black card, any black card, from your graveyard to your hand. So the reason I do not have Demonic Tutor in this deck, the reason I do not have Demonic Tutor in Karavek, who also has a Shadun, is because it would easily become apparent to your opponents that the correct line of play is to sacrifice him, get the Demonic Tutor back, go find something that'll wreck the game state, that'll put you ahead, whatever card you really need at the time, resurrect him, play him again, and you can just every few turns get the demonic tutor back, and every few turns get the exact card you need for the situation at hand, and it just makes the deck really consistent, which is not what I want. There's that tension. There's that tension between you want your deck to be consistent in that it works, in that you don't get all of your small weak creatures, you get enough land. If you have ramp, you get enough ramp, that you get a mix. You want your deck to be consistent in that it will give you a usable mix of the cards you selected for your deck when it's relevant. Where consistency goes too far is where your deck is just doing one thing, the most efficient thing, over and over again, and there's really no tension. There's really no surprises, no discovery. That's not the consistency I want. Power Matrix. 4 colorless. Target creature gets +1/+1, flying for strike and trample until end of turn. How much? Oh, that's 30 euros now. Well, everything's going up. It's not inflation, it's just these haven't been reprinted for a while, so they just keep going up. So, double duty in this deck. 1, if Horobi is not in play, I can make something into a hell of a threat. Flying for strike and trample? Oh yeah. Especially if it's Phyrexian Obliterator. Phyrexian Obliterator would then be a 5/5 flying for strike trample. And on the defense, that means he can block pretty much anything, unless it is horsemanship. And he'll do his damage first. Actually, Phyrexian Obliterator is not the best example. Not at all. Massacre Worm is better. Massacre Worm would be a 7/6 flying for strike trample. Yeah, that could be a good threat. Or, of course, if Horobi's in play, I generously give one of my opponent's creatures a barrage of keywords and +1/+1 right before it dies. Actually, it doesn't get them at all. It dies before that ability resolves. Cabal Coffers. 2 colors, you get a black for every swamp. Erebos, God of the Dead. 3 and a black for a 5/7 indestructible god. As long as your devotion black's less than 5, he's not a creature, he's just an enchantment that sits there looking cool. Your opponents can't gain that randomly screws people. There will be once in a while you'll be in a game with somebody and you play Erebos and it just wrecks their whole game plan. They're like, oh fuck me. Like when I was playing against in Ostruzna, I got out on Erebos and Big Jimmy was playing his Alluro life gain deck. So he couldn't gain any life, which was absolutely key to his plan. That was his whole plan, gain life and screw us. So he couldn't gain life, so he couldn't screw us. So we got him that game. 1 to black, pay 2 life card. Swamp. There it is. There it is. My Phyrexian Obliterator. I paid too much for this, but I wanted a foil one for a long time. And I finally find somebody in Prague that had one for trade. And I over-traded for it, but like I said, I really wanted one. I really wanted a foil one. 4 black. 4 black pips. He's really hard to cast outside of a deck that's mono black. 5/5 Trampling Horror. Whenever source deals damage to Phyrexian Obliterator, that source's controller sacrifices that many permanents. So actually, against Sonic, with Sonic Cube likes to play Caltrops. Whenever a creature attacks, it takes opponent damage. So that would really encourage me to attack with the Obliterator. Yeah, so he attacks, he takes 1 damage. Cube, you have to sacrifice something. It would be a treasure, of course, but still. Man, this guy's so cool. And when I got him, so when I traded for him, it took me 2 months before I really had him in a deck, and it didn't really work in there because of the 4 black pips. So finally, when I rebuilt Horobi, he found his true home. He found where he belongs. Ritual Suit. 2 double black. Kill all the small creatures. All the creatures CMC 3 or less die. This is in here instead of Damnation, instead of other, because I already have Toxic Deluge, I already have Horobi and his ways of mass execution, his ways of mass murder. So, but sometimes, you know, there's a token army, or there's a bunch of small, and I just want to wipe the board a little bit, clean it up. Star Compass. Touch a ramp in this deck. I just like it. I like the way this looks. It's a very pretty Prolene Shift foil. 2 colorless, comes to play tapped. Add your mana pool, 1 mana of any color basic land you control could produce. So, black. Walking Atlas. This guy is fucking cool. If you don't have any of these, I recommend you get one. Just get one, play with it, see how you like it. I think you'll love it. I like to run him in any deck that doesn't have green, that doesn't have access to efficient ramp, a la Horobi. Especially because Horobi has multiple ways of drawing extra cards. So this guy, 2 colorless, 1/1 construct. Tap, put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. Any land. It doesn't have to be basic, it doesn't come into play tapped. You just tap him and you get an extra land. If you have ways to untap him on your opponent's turns, you know, 1,000-Year Elixir, if Horobi is not in play, then I can untap him on my opponent's turn and tap him to play lands on their turn too. And unlike Burgeoning, he doesn't even care if they play an elite, he just does it. He's like, hey, put a land to play. There she is. Liliana of the Dark Realms. 2 colorless, black, 3 loyalty, Liliana. +1, go find a swamp, show it to everyone, put it in your hand, then shuffle. -3, target creature gets +X/+X, or -X until end of turn, where that's the number of swamps you control. I don't think I've ever done that ability. I probably have once or twice, but I can't remember doing it, because that's not why she's here. She's here to find me swamps, and then give me an emblem. Baby, give me an emblem. And when she hits 6, and I can get that emblem, my swamps give me 4 black for each swamp. So all it takes is 4 turns. Because she starts at 3 turns, tick her up once per turn, and then on the 4th turn, if I am willing to sacrifice her to get the ultimate, sacrifice her, and now I've got this hell of an emblem that can't be dealt with, can't be gotten rid of. And then if I've got Shadowdoon, I can just sacrifice him and bring her back into play. Willis, broker of good times. Okay, so Willis here, 5 triple black for an 8/8, which is satisfying. He costs 8. He is an 8/8. That's pretty cool. I'm glad they did that. Gristlebrand is not so satisfying because he's an 8 mana 7/7. And you pay 7 life. So having the 1 number off is kind of jarring. Anyway, this guy flies. 1 black, pay 2 life. Target creature gets -1 until end of turn. Whenever you lose life, draw that many cards. So when you lose 2 life, you draw 2 cards. So you need the Walking Atlas, because some of those eventually will be lands, and you're going to want to get those down into play faster than you would otherwise. Bush Meat Poacher. This is some bullshit. All of you now are looking at this like, why do you have this bullshit common in your deck? Can't you find anything better? Yeah, I probably could. In fact, I know I could. I just don't want to. Because I want ways of drawing cards, gaining life, and she's respectable for her stats. So, and also financially, she's worthless. So I already had a foil one. It was an easy inclusion because I already had her. Didn't have to order her or anything. Yeah, there are probably better things. In fact, you can flood the comments with what you think are better things. Flood the comments, let me know, and I'll take a look at them. And if one of them is a better suggestion, I'll probably take you up on it and replace her. 3 in black for a 2/4 human soldier. 1 tap, sacrifice another creature. She can't even sacrifice herself. Gain life equal to that creature's toughness, and then draw a card. So again, another way of saving things from being exiled. Harvester of Souls. 4 double black. 5/5 death touching. He doesn't fly. I keep thinking he should fly, because so many demons fly, but he doesn't. It helps that he doesn't have wings. So even though when I see him, I think he should fly, him having wings is a clue for me to read the card and make sure he doesn't fly. But he does have Death Touch, and whenever another non-token creature dies, you may draw a card. You probably should. Cards are good. Mikaeus, the Unhallowed. 3 double black for a legendary zombie cleric. He's intimidating. And whenever a human deals damage to me, he kills it. My other non-human creatures get +1/+1 and Undying, which is pretty cool. Too bad Shadun is a human. But then we would go back to the whole consistency question. If Shadun was not a human, and I could sacrifice him, and Mikaeus would bring him back, then it would become too consistent. So on the one hand, it's good that Shadun is a human. On the other hand, it is kind of fun to think about the possibilities. Living Death. 3 double black. Everybody takes the creatures they have in play, puts them over there. Everybody takes the creatures out of their graveyard and puts them into play. Then everybody takes the creatures that are over there and puts them in the graveyard. You swap the living for the dead. That's all you do. It's a hell of a board wipe sometimes. If somebody doesn't have anything in their graveyard and they've got a big army of the living, and all of a sudden they've got a big army of nothing because everything dies and they've got nothing to bring back, yeah, that can swing things pretty quickly. Night Howler. 1 double black. So his power toughness is equal to the number of all creature cards in all graveyards, which is cool. And you can bestow him for 2 double black, which is cool. I just like him. I love this Nyx field foil. That border, I just like it. I like it a lot. Cauldron of Souls. I should get a foil one of these. I've got a foil one in Sigarda, and I believe I've got another foil one somewhere. I can't remember. Of course, the foil one right now is trading at €13. But maybe there's another art. Maybe I can get an alternate art. So anyway, 5 mana. Get that dust off there. There we go. 5 mana. Artifact. Tap. Choose any number of target creatures. Target. Each of those creatures gains persist until end of turn. So if it would die, and if it had no neg1 counters on it, it comes back with a neg1 counter on it. Of course, if Horobi's in play, when I Cauldron of Souls, if I target all my opponent's creatures, they die before they get to persist. They die to Horobi's effect before the persist trigger goes off. But if he's not in play, then if somebody does board wipe, I can save all of my big creatures. Hey, and right behind it, right behind Cauldron of Souls is Touch of Darkness, which actually is pretty cool, because sometimes what will happen is I will have Cauldron of Souls in play. I will go to activate it to do a one-sided board wipe with Horobi out, and somebody will target Horobi in response, meaning he would die before this would activate his trigger. So then if I have Touch of Darkness in response, then for 1 black, I can change any number of target creatures to black until end turn. So I can touch all the other creatures with darkness. They would die. Horobi is targeted, so then he would die. And then Cauldron of Souls, that trigger would go off. But the Touch of Darkness has already killed all those creatures, so it would have no valid targets, so it would just be a useless tapping of the artifact. I really need to look that up and see if they've got different art though for Cauldron of Souls. Swamp, Swamp, Swamp. Nettling Pimp. Okay, so let's talk about the combo. This is an old combo. Some of you that have been playing since Revised, I don't know how many of you have been playing since Revised, but for those of you who have, you'll remember this. Nettling 2 and a black for a 1/1. He's got wings, but he doesn't fly, which is irritating. So anyway, this walking pimp. 2 and a black for a 1/1 pimp. Tap, force target non-wall creature and opponent controls to attack. If it cannot attack, it is killed at the end of turn. Can only be used during opponent's turn on their first main phase. Cannot be used on creature summon this turn. So, you know, they've got this wall of text. Basically says, on your opponent's turn during the first main phase, you can target one of their creatures and it has to attack. If it cannot attack, it will die. He doesn't care why it can't attack. He doesn't give a shit, as long as it's not a wall. So if something has defender, but it is not a wall, he doesn't care. He will still kill it. So this is pretty good against the OreoDayz defender deck. The other thing that he'll do is, so the creature, if it does attack, then typically it taps and then the Royal Assassin can finish it off. Royal Assassin can kill it. Or, again, of course, if Horobi is in play, Horobi will kill that creature before it can attack, regardless of its ability to attack. And I just love the art. This is Quentin Hoover, my first favorite Magic artist because of Vesuvian Doppelganger. I just really like this card. It just makes me happy to see it. Grave Titan! 4 double black for a 6/6 giant with Death Touch. Whenever it comes to play attack, you get 2/2 zombies. Ayara, first Lochthwain. Triple black for a 2/3 elf noble. Whenever she or another black creature comes to play under your control, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. So the more black creatures, and she doesn't care if it's a token or not. So it's kind of cool that the Grave Titan preceded her, because if she's in play, Grave Titan comes into play with 2 buddies. Each opponent loses 3 life, 1 for the Titan, 1 for each buddy, and I gain 3 life. See, this is another one that it's not you gain life equal to the life lost this way. So if my opponents collectively lose 9 life, as per that example, 3 life per opponent, 3 opponents, I only gain 3 life. I don't gain 9. I guess it'd be broken if it was you gain life equal to the life lost this way. But anyway, I can also tap her to sacrifice another black creature, draw a card. Has to be a black creature though. Dimrit, chosen from death. Double black for a 2-star demigod. His toughness is equal to my devotion black, so natively he's a 2/2. And then of course you see everything else in the deck, and you know he's going to get real tough, real fast. 1 black, exile up to 2 target cards from graveyards. You gain 1 life for each creature card exiled. So that's pretty cool wording. So you can spend 1 black, you can take something from this guy's graveyard, take something from that guy's graveyard, and if they're creatures, you gain life. So you don't have to pick on only one person's graveyard. Swamp, Thawing Glaciers. Slow as molasses in January. Comes into play tapped. 1 tap. Search your library for a basic land card and put that into play tapped. And then shuffle your library. And then at the turn, at the end of your turn, at the end of the turn, at the end of turn, whatever turn it is, bounce Thawing Glaciers back to owner's hand. So you can play it again. And it comes into play tapped. Or you just play Walking Atlas and you just tap him, put it down tapped, and get done tapping on your turn and crash the cycle. Thief of Blood, 4 double black. 1/1 flying vampire. When she comes into play, remove all counters from all opponent. Yeah, this will really screw over Hick and Liliana. It'll wreck them. Because Thief of Blood comes into play and steals all counters from all permanents, even yours. She doesn't care. She just wants it all. But she gets +1/+1 for each counter removed this way. So she can be a pretty big flyer pretty quickly. And if your opponents have been pumping up the creatures +1/+1 counters, she can reset them back to little bitty creatures. against, say, Tyranids that love +1/+ encounters. Oh, yeah, she'd be fucking perfect. Because usually about turn 6, Cube will have 6 creatures that are all 5/5 or bigger with +1/+ encounters. And all I have to do is drop her in play, and they all become 1/1, 2/2 little bastards, and I can eat them. Drain life. 1 to black. For each black you spend in addition, so it should have an X in the casting cost, but it doesn't. This confused Cube at first when I played it because he didn't recognize the old wording. He hasn't seen this card. He hasn't seen the old templating. But I drained him for 28 points. Yes, 28 points of damage in one go. I drained him for 28 in addition to the 2 that it cost me to get us started because of Leona's ability, her ultimate. So I drained him for 28, and he said, wait, where does it say you can do that? And went through and explained, for each black you spend in addition to the cast cost, deals 1 damage to every creature player, gain 1 life for each 1 damage dealt this way, but not more than toughness of the creature or player that drain life damages. So you can't get more than than dude has. Stronghold Overseer. I don't know how good this guy is. I mean, 3 double black. He's flying and shadow. What does it matter? Why does he have flying and shadow? I would rather him have well, lifelink would be pretty fucking cool, but lifelink on a 5/5 shadow creature, that would just be dirty, wouldn't it? That'd be just brutal. I don't know, some other ability. Because shadow means he can only be blocked or block creatures with shadow. And if you're the only one playing shadow creatures, if you've never seen any of your opponents play shadow creatures, then usually he becomes essentially unblockable. He just might as well say unblockable because nobody else is playing shadow creatures. And the flying part, I mean, who cares about that? Anyway, he's a 5/5 and you can pump them up. You can spend double black. Creatures with shadow get +1/+1. Creatures without shadow get -1, -0. Sorry, it's not +1/+1, it's +1/+0. So you spend double black for every double black. Shadow creatures get more powerful. Non-shadow creatures get weaker. So he's also a way of dealing with token armies, because if somebody's attacking me with a bunch of 2/2, 3/3 tokens, I can spend mana, black mana, and take the sting out of it. So anyway, I kind of like him. I haven't really had him in play yet, though. I've taken him. He's one of those cards. To be honest, he's one of those cards that will go into a deck, and then I'll find something really cool, so he comes out of the deck, and then I'm like, I really want to see how he works. I really want to play this guy, so I put him back in the deck, and then something else cool, so in and out, in and out. So I'm leaving him in here to make sure I can play him. Phyrexian Arena. According to the latest information I have, this is a shit card that nobody plays anymore, and I should take it out, and I should feel bad for playing it. Other than that said, 1 double black for enchantment. Beginning of your upkeep, you draw a card and lose 1 life. Gary! Hey, Gary, what are you going to give me? I'm going to give you life, baby. How much life, Gary? How much is your devotion to black? A lot. Then I'm going to give you a life. A lot of life. And I'm going to suck it out of your opponents. I'm going to drain those bastards and give it to you, boss. Oh, Gary, you're so cool. I could kiss you if you didn't smell like rotting flesh. Swamp. Since he's dividing top, 1 to cast it, 1 to look at the top 3 cards of your library, put them back however you feel, tap, draw a card, and then put this card, switch this with the top card of your library. You might as well say that. Tap, put Since he's dividing top on top of your library, and draw a card. But you draw a card first. Hey, I got a message. Jet Medallion. 2 colors. My black spells cost 1 less to play. Oh, this is a mono black deck. That sounds like it could be highly useful. Hunter Viblights. This is probably another card that doesn't see much play at all. 3 double black for a 3/3 elf assassin. Comes into play, put a +1/+ encounter target creature you don't control. So if Horobi's in play, and I play Hunter Viblights, he comes in and kills something. 2 and a black, destroy target creature with a counter on it. Any counter, doesn't matter. Flying, trample, all those fucking Ikori counters. He doesn't like creatures with counters on them. He wants to murder them. Swamp. Blood Artist. In the alternate art. 1 to black. Whenever Blood Artist, another creature dies, target player loses 1 life, you gain 1 life. Swamp. Noxious Gearhulk. 4 double black for a 5/4 construct with Menace. When he comes to play, you can destroy another target creature. And if it dies this way, you can life equal to its toughness. Bonder's Enclave. I've got a lot of big black things in here. I've got a lot of creatures that their power is 4 or greater. A lot. So this is a low risk way of drawing more cards. Or I can just use it for colorless mana. Cuckoo, Night's Flower. She's cool. And I wanted a foil one for a while. And then Cherny Vertige. Did I get it from Cherny? I'm pretty sure I got it from my LGS. So they had one. I bought one. Double black for a 1/1 human assassin. 2 black. Target creature punches itself in the face. And there have been a few games where she was the first creature I played, so on turn 2 I get down Kiku. I can't activate her until I've got 4 mana, but I've got her down. And my opponents, at first, they're kind of worried. But then they forget about her, because she's just a 1/1. What do they care? And then they start doing some bullshit. And since I can activate her ability anytime, it doesn't say activate only as a sorcery, they forget about that. And they attack me with something that I don't want to get hit with. So she makes it punch itself in the face and it dies. And they're like, oh yeah, you can do that at any time. Yes I can. Swamp. Shouldered Whispering One. 5 double black for 6/6 Swamp Walking Predator. At the beginning of your upkeep, you bring a dead creature back from your battlefield to play. And at the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, they sacrifice a creature. Bajuka Bog. Yeah, just because I'm worried about getting Bajuka Bogged doesn't mean that I'm not going to run it myself.
Hello.
How do you like that, Bajuka Bog?
Why is it called Bajuka Bog?
Because it is a Bajuka Bog.
What does that even mean?
It's a bog in Bajuka.
Where's Bajuka?
On... what the hell is the name of that world? Zendikar. It's on Zendikar.
Okay.
So, in a place called Zendikar, it's basically like a planet. So on the planet Zendikar, they've got a place called Bajuka, and they have bogs.
What's a bog?
See the picture?
Mm-hmm.
That's a bog. See how it's kind of swampy?
Yeah.
And there are trees growing out of the swamp.
And there's a dead guy in there.
Yep, and there's the dead guy in there. So that's a bog. Basically, it's kind of a swamp.
Okay.
You get bogged down.
Okay.
Alright, and that's Horobi. Let me get this posted and see what all of you think. Happy New Year, lads. Did you want to say Happy New Year?
Yeah.
Then say it.
Happy New Year, everyone.
And I don't think there's only one girl that watches my channel, according to the analytics.
And that's who?
I don't know her name. It just says there's one girl who watches. They don't give me a name.
So don't say lads.
Why?
Because then you say lads, but not everyone. You don't say it to everyone.
And?
And what if I watch your channel? What if I watch it?
Well, you don't.
What if I do?
But you don't.
What if I secretly do?
I know you don't. I know you watch Shiloh and Bros, and this is not Shiloh and Bros. This is Magic and Bros.
You should call it Tony and his card bros.
If I call it Tony and Card Bros, then I might as well say lads, because I'm still excluding women, aren't I? Because women cannot be card bros, can they? They would be card sisters, wouldn't they?
Yeah. Kind of.
What do you mean, kind of? That's the way it works.
Yes, okay, fine.
Razmish?
Yes.
Okay, good. So can I end this now?
Yes.
Okay,
Watch
good.
it.